You have heard of pyramids, Greek gods, and Roman roads, but did you know Indian civilization was just as old and even more advanced in some ways? Ancient India, the civilization that knew too much. Now, first of all, what is a civilization and what are its main characteristics? So, a civilization refers to an advanced stage of human society marked by a high level of culture, science, industry, and government. And according to the textbook, if we define civilization, it has following characteristics. First is the government and administration, then is urbanism, crafts, trade, writing, generations, cultural ideas, and agriculture that define a civilization. Have you ever thought that why is writing considered an important feature of a civilization? Writing is a crucial feature of a civilization because it allows people to record information such as laws, trade, transactions, events, and religious text, communicate across time and space, helping to maintain and expand governance, preserve knowledge, traditions, and culture for future generation. We'll further study that how did the development of agriculture contribute to the growth of civilization. See, agriculture played a foundational role in the growth of cultivation civilization. Steady food supply led to the population growth, and surplus production supported specialization of labor, meaning not everyone had to farm and could become artisans, traders, and leaders. With more food, there was also more time for cultural development, trade, and technological innovations. We wonder that what role did crafts and trade play in early civilizations? Crafts and trades were vital economic and cultural elements of early civilizations. Craft involved making goods like tools, jewelry, pottery, ornaments from materials such as metal, stone, and clay, and this required skill and specialization. Trade allowed these goods to reach distant regions, encouraging economic growth and cultural exchange. Both internal and external trade helped in the exchange of ideas, technology, and culture. If we have a look at the timeline, when did civilization begin and what were its early examples, we can find out that some early examples include Mesopotamian civilization in the region of modern day Iraq, Egyptian civilization along the Nile River, Harappan or Indus Valley civilization in India subcontinent. So these civilizations developed writing, cities, governance, trade, and agriculture, and setting the stage for modern societies. Have you ever wondered that which characteristic is the most fundamental of this civilization and why? See, agriculture turns out to be the most fundamental. It provided a stable food supply which allowed people to stop being nomadic and settle in one place. It supported large population, making cities possible. A surplus in food meant that not everyone had to farm, so people could specialize in other activities. A big question arises that how did the transformation from villages to cities take place in the Indus Valley region? So, this transformation from villages to city in the Indus Valley region was a gradual process driven by geographical and agriculture advantages. The plain of Punjab and Sindh, now divided between India and Pakistan, were watered by Indus River and its tributaries, making the land fertile and ideal for agriculture. The Saraswati River, which flowed through parts of Haryana, Punjab, Rajasthan, and Gujarat, also contributed to the fertility of the land. Around 3500 BCE, small villages began to grow due to surplus agriculture productions, and these villages gradually expand into towns and with increasing trade, exchange, and craft specializations. There were certain names which are given to these civilizations, and why are its people called Harappans? That's a big question. So, archaeologists have given various names to the civilization that developed in the Indus Valley, such as Indus civilization, Harappan civilization, Indus Saraswati civilization, or Sindhu Saraswati civilizations. So, the inhabitants of the civilizations are called Harappan, as the first city of the civilizations to be excavated was Harappa, located in the present day Pakistan's Punjab. This excavation was carried out in 1920-21, over a century ago. Since Harappa was the first site discovered, the entire civilization came to be known by this name only. Now, this Harappan civilization is called the first urbanization of India because it marked the first time in Indian history that people began living in well planned urban centers with structured layouts. These cities had advanced town planning, including drainage system, granaries, trade centers, and public baths. Urban features like street laid out in grids, multi-roomed houses, and specialized crafts and trades emerged during this period. Villages transitioned into towns and then into cities with increasing complexities in administration, economy, and culture. So they first defined as the urbanization. Rivers played a very crucial role in the emergence of this Harappan civilization. The Indus River and its tributaries watered the plains of Punjab and Sindh, making the soil fertile and suitable for agriculture. The Saraswati River, which flowed from the Himalaya through Haryana, Punjab, and other regions, further supported agriculture and human settlements. These rivers provided a reliable water source for crops, animals, and for people, and fertile land enabled surplus food production, which allowed populations to grow and settle there permanently. The Saraswati River played a vital role in the development of Harappan culture. The Saraswati River is believed to have flooded through areas that are now part of India and Pakistan. It's referred as Ghagar in India and Hakra in Pakistan, leading to the combined name Ghagar Hakra River. Unlike the Indus River, Saraswati is seasonal and flows only during the rainy season today. And many Harappan sites, in addition to these, along the Indus were located along the banks of this river. The Rig Veda and ancient texts mention that Saraswati River is as sacred and it was worshipped both as a goddess and as a river flowing from the mountains to the sea. This Harappan civilization has a very deep impact on the town planning also. It's well known for its remarkable town planning, which reflects the advanced urban culture of that time. Harappa, Mohenjo-daro, located in present-day Pakistan, were the first sites to be discovered from the civilization. Their identification dates back to 1924, and many more cities were later found, particularly in the Indus Plains. And because of this, the civilization was initially called Indus Valley Civilization, and later discoveries included major cities like Dholavira, that is in Gujarat, Rakhighari, that is in Haryana, and Ganveriwala in the Cholistan desert of Pakistan, along with hundreds of smaller sites. These sites shows evidence of well-planned street grids, efficient drainage system, separate areas for public and private buildings, storage facilities like granaries, and advanced water management system, including public bath and tanks. Now, further, we'll move to the town planning system of Harappan civilization. It's renowned for its advanced town planning system, which was highly organized and structured. Harappan cities like Mohenjo-daro, Harappa, Dholavira, and others were built with precise plans. And the cities had wide streets, some of which are oriented to the cardinal directions north, south, east, and west. Cities were divided into two distinct parts: the upper town, where the elite class, like rulers, officials, and priests, used to live, and the lower town, where the common people resided. So many cities, especially the larger ones, were fortified with massive walls, indicating a concern for protection and possible control over resources or administrations. If we observe the buildings and construction in the Harappan civilization, we can see that there's a uniform and advanced architectural approaches there. Large buildings such as warehouse were constructing for collective purposes. Individual houses varied in size but were all built using similar material and method, indicating standardization in construction. All houses, whether big or small, were generally made of baked bricks, and the bricks were laid out carefully, and the quality of construction was consistent across different structures. The cities also had smaller lanes branching out from the main streets and showing well planned layouts. Whenever we talk about Mohenjo-daro, we ought to talk about Great Path. So, the Great Bath of Mohenjo-daro is one of the most famous and mysterious structure of the Harappan civilization. It is small but elaborate tank measuring about 12 into 7 meters, and the tank was built usually using carefully laid bricks and lined with waterproofing materials like natural bitumen. So, this structure reflects the architectural advancement of the civilization in terms of engineering. The exact purpose of the Great Bath is still debated. Some scholars believe it was used for ritual bathing or religious ceremonies, and others suggest that it might be, a public or administrative function. Regardless of its exact purpose, the Great Bath showcases the importance of water and cleanliness in Harappan culture and is considered one of the earliest public water tanks in the world. The Harappan civilization had an advanced and efficient water management system, which reflected their understanding of urban hygiene and engineering. The Harappans gave great importance to water management and cleanliness. Most houses and separate bathing areas, and the wastewater was drained through a well planned drainage network. These drains usually ran along the streets, ensuring that waste was removed from residential areas. In cities like Dholavira, which is present day run of Kutch, Gujarat, sophisticated system for water storage were developed. The largest reservoir in Dholavira measured 73 meters in length, and at least six large reservoirs were constructed in Dholavira. So these reservoirs were built with stones or cut directly into the rock, and they were connected through underground drains, which made the system efficient for collecting, storing, and distributing water. Despite this, what did Harappans eat, and what were their agriculture practices? So, as they were settled near rivers, which provided water for agriculture and enriched the soil, they grew cereals like wheat, barley, rice, as well as millets, pulses such as beans, peas, lentils, and were also the part of their diet. In addition, they cultivated vegetables and used cotton to weave clothes. Farming tools such as plow have been found at excavation sites and indicating advanced agriculture practices. And the Harappans also domesticated animals for meat and dairy, and they consume fish from rivers and sea. Scientific evidence from clay pots remain of dairy products, turmeric, ginger, showing their diet was very diverse. If we see their cooking habits, we can find that archaeological excavations of clay pots have revealed the residues that indicate Harappans consume both expected and surprising items. Common food items, which included cereals, pulses, etc., suggest that Harappans had a rich and varied diet, combining agriculture produce with the animal product and spices, and their ability to grow cotton at the same time for their clothing also shows their advancement in lifestyle. Despite to agriculture, they also used to trade, and for that trade they used to export ornaments, timber, cotton, possible food. Gold was also a trade item for them. Their most favored ornaments were made from carnelian, a semi precious stone mainly found in Gujarat. Harappan craftsmen had developed techniques to drill stone in shells to make jewelry such as beads and bangles. The shells were crafted into fine bangles, showcasing that they had mastered hard materials. While the goods they imported in exchange are not entirely known, it's believed to be imported copper, as metal was rare in that period. Further, this Harappan civilization managed such large scale agriculture and trade. The society seemed organized enough to manage irrigation, farming, and food distribution efficiently. They created farming tools like plow, which are still used by some farmers today, and the surplus from agricultural activities supported other occupations, that is, craftsmanship, trade, etc. When we talk about Harappans conducting the trade, they were engaged in both local and distant trade. They used land and river routes to connect with other settlements. One significant example of their trade activity is dockyard at Lothal, a site in Gujarat. This dockyard measured 217 meters in length and 36 meters in width, nearly the size of two football fields, and it was built to receive and send boats and cargoes, showing advanced planning and engineering. And to facilitate the trade, the Harappans made beads, ornaments, and seals. Beads of carnelian, a semi precious stone that I've already told was found in sites such as Susa in present day Iran, and suggesting international trade links also. There is a big significance of the Harappan seals also. They were made from steatite, a stone that could be hardened by heating. These seals were small in size, often depicted animals such as bulls, unicorns, or tigers, and some seals also featured symbols that are believed to have been part of an early writing system. Though the exact meaning of these signs is still unknown, it's widely believed that seals were used in trade to mark ownership or that content of goods. The use of animal motifs, scripts suggest a symbolic and functional purpose, possibly for identification, trade, and authentication or administration. Harappan craftsmen were highly skilled and used a variety of materials including steatite, shell, bronze, and they developed techniques to shape and polish stones and shells, drill holes, craft intricate ornaments. For instance, the Harappans made beautiful beads and bangles from the shells, indicating both technical skill and aesthetic sense. And bronze was made by mixing copper with tin, which made it harder and suitable for tools and small figures. Their mastery of metallurgy and artistry reflects the advancement of the Harappan civilization in their craft and trade center also. But despite so many achievements, there was a time when this Harappan civilization declined. But what factors contributed to it? So, this Harappan or Sindhu Saraswati civilization began to decline around 1900 BCE. The well planned cities were gradually abandoned, and this decline marks the end of one of the world's oldest and most advanced urban civilization. There are multiple theories proposed by archaeologists for this decline. Initially, it was thought that the invasion or warfare might have caused it, but no solid evidence such as weapons or mass destructions have been found. This suggests that the Harappans lived in a relatively peaceful society. Two major reasons are now widely accepted. First is the climate change. Around 2200 BCE, the region experienced decreased rainfall and a shift to a drier climate. This could have affected the agriculture, leading to food shortage, drying up of Saraswati River, and the river dried up to its central basin, which caused major urban centers such as Kalibangan and Banavali to be abandoned. And due to these changes, the Harappans gradually adopted a rural lifestyle and they moved to small villages where access to food and water was easier than in large cities. So, cities like Mohenjo-daro and Harappa were no longer inhabited. This decline of Harappan cities tells us about the relationship between climate and human civilization. Now that you have learned about this India's first civilization, can you name any two Harappan sites? What was unique about their drainage? And why is Indus script still a mystery? Comment your answers below and let's see how many of you are future historians. And don't forget to like, share and subscribe my channel.